E-cigarettes, also called vapor cigarettes, are under attack in Delaware, and so is the Secretary of Education for something he said on this show. This is the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Menti. Welcome to the Delaware Way. Keeping people in Delaware safe from e-cigarettes is what we're going to start with Representative Debra Heffernan, who is a Democrat from North Wilmington. I appreciate you being here. I know that you're part of this legislation. Look, I'm so out of it, I didn't realize that e-cigarettes have become so popular. What are they? Well,
an e-cigarette is a device that heats a liquid that has nicotine and flavoring, and the person or the device emits an aerosol that is contaminated with nicotine and other chemicals. Although it's a misconception that what comes out is harmless water vapor, it really isn't. So it's a hazard to anybody who's breathing in the emissions that someone else blows out.
Yeah, I've heard 20-somethings, teenagers talk about this, and they don't call them e-cigarettes. I think they call them vapor cigarettes or vapes.
Right,
they
to
sometimes
vape
call
and
them.
vaping. It's becoming very popular among young people. Some of it is that the advertising is really targeted at being cool. Some of the same things that the tobacco manufacturers did with cigarettes. But unfortunately, there's a real misconception that it's safe and that what is emitted or what someone else blows out is safe for other people. And actually, it has a lot of hazardous chemicals, including nicotine, which is harmful to people breathing it in.
I heard someone specifically told me, to your point, specifically told me that you still can look cool, but it's much healthier.
Well, you know what, compared to a regular cigarette, that it is less toxic, but that doesn't mean it's non-toxic to secondhand people breathing the secondhand emission. We in Delaware, in 2002, Delaware was the second state to pass the Clean Indoor Air Act. We have model legislation for other states. Right now, 3 states, many municipalities and cities have banned e-cigarettes in indoor public spaces, and that's what this bill does. Doesn't stop people from ever using it, it just means that they have to go outside.
Just like if you smoked a regular cigarette.
Just if you were smoking a cigarette. It's just because other people in restaurants and bars and indoor spaces, they deserve to breathe clean air, and that's something in Delaware we've been breathing clean air inside since 2002, and we want to continue that trend.
It seems to me the e-cigarettes were almost invented to get around some of these restrictions so that people could still smoke them in clubs or still smoke them in restaurants or still smoke them in their workplace and not have to go outside. It's almost like they were invented just for that purpose.
Well, I don't know if that's true, but I know that the Delaware Restaurant Association is supporting the legislation because they want to keep puts them in a very hard place when people are smoking these indoors in restaurants and other patrons are complaining. They would like to see some clear policy on that.
I want to talk about something else for one moment, some other legislation that I know that you're involved in, as are all women legislators, it seems like, in Dover, and that is a series of bills to help support women. Can you talk a little bit about them? I think there's 11 bills, is there not?
There is. I mean, it's a very exciting package of legislation that benefits women and families. One of the bills that I'm working on is that for maternity, actually parental leave for state employees. Right now there is no maternity or paternity policy, so this would give people up to 12 weeks of paid leave.
Most of the bills, it seems like, are not very controversial. The equal pay bill across the country has been getting some pushback because some of the statistics seem skewed. I mean, I see one statistic that's thrown out about women in Delaware only getting 67 cents on the dollar for men. But then when you get into the specifics of the jobs, how long you've been in the job, what the job entails, the experience of the job, the numbers come closer together. And so can't some of those bills sometimes almost be discriminatory against men?
I don't think so, because I think that we are very lucky as legislators that it's equality for women and men legislators. None of these bills, it's really just evening the playing field for women and making it equal. So I don't think it is any kind of discrimination towards men.
But although, I mean, if you're saying your experience doesn't matter, the type of job you're doing matter, as soon as someone's hired, they should get the same pay of you. That's not what you're saying. You're saying
no.
when they have the equal experience and do the equal job, they should get paid the most.
Such as like an attorney with equal experience, equal background in education, they should be paid the same. Same for anybody working in a store or an office building, they should be paid the same.
And the reason I brought up discrimination for men, which is because there has been some theories that if bills like this are pushed, that men's salaries would actually come down to make them more equal and to be able to qualify for the law. Even though women's salaries would come up, they'd bring men down just to make certain they're equal.
And that's not the point, and I do think that things have changed in our society today. Like, it's not like the man is the major breadwinner and the woman is staying home. Both, you have men and women that are major breadwinners for their family, and they deserve to be paid the same for the same exact job. So I think the same with our maternity bill and paternity leave, it has that also. I think that we've come so far in Delaware, and I want to keep things even in the playing field for women and men and families. Everybody's going to benefit.
Okay. When we come back, I want to talk about some of the other topics that you might not be involved in directly, but you're going to have to vote on that are making it through the legislature in Dover. When we come back with Representative Debra Heffernan. I keep worrying I'm going to get the last name wrong and I mess up the first name. Representative Debra Heffernan, a Democrat serving North Wilmington, when Delaware Way continues.